Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're really getting into some quite profound source material. It's the kind of stuff that really challenges, some deep assumptions. Assumptions about creation, free will, and this honestly astonishing idea of divine love and sacrifice.
It really is. The perspective is quite unique.
It is. It gives such a different lens on why things might exist the way they do. So our mission really for this deep dive is to try and unpack this framework. It's pretty intricate.
Yeah, definitely.
We want to pull out the surprising insights and understand what this idea of completion actually means in this context specifically. Okay, let's dive in.
Absolutely. And, one of the first things that really jumps out, it's how they frame free will. It's not simply portrayed as like a gift. The sources explicitly say, and this is quite a statement, free will is the possibility of death.
Wow. Okay, that's direct.
It is. And it doesn't just stop there. It suggests that creatures with this free will in the current order, well, they will someday certainly disobey God's commandment.
So it's like an inherent flaw or an inevitable outcome almost.
That's certainly how it reads initially.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a built-in trajectory towards transgression and death.
Which is incredibly stark. And if that's the starting point, and these creatures are also described, initially at least, as having no value to the Father and the Son, it just immediately makes you ask, why? Why create them in the first place?
Exactly.
And how does something starting out like that, as these sources put it, ever possibly become complete? It feels like a contradiction.
It does.
Yeah.
But what's fascinating here is how the sources explain it. God decides to create this order for himself. Even though, God is already complete, totally self-sufficient, creation is described as if it were nothing to him.
Right, not confined by it.
Precisely. But, crucially, the creation isn't actually complete just by existing. Something more needs to happen. And to get to that completion, well, the sources reveal this immense divine sacrifice. That's really the pivot point.
Okay, right. And this is where it gets really interesting and quite moving, actually. The texts state it so plainly. The Father paid the Son as a price for creatures, and the Son abandoned everything for creatures.
The imagery is powerful, too.
It really is. The Son's blood-covered creatures and the Father's tears-covered creatures. It's presented as this incredibly transformative act. It changes them.
Yes, it changes their status fundamentally.
Yeah.
From having, quote, no value, they become precious to both the Father and the Son. It's a profound shift.
So that sacrifice is the key mechanism for changing their worth.
It seems to be central. And if we connect this to the bigger picture described, it's not just a transaction. The sources talk about the second God, which seems to be a specific divine figure in this system, who actually became a creature, entered the created order at a set time, inheriting God's name. And this figure isn't just a messenger about the law. He is the law, the substance of the law, and love itself.
Ah, okay. So different from, say, angels who just brought the law on stone tablets like a shadow.
Exactly. That's the contrast they draw. This is presented as the living reality, the substance, not just the rules written down, a fundamental shift.
Okay, so this divine intervention, the sacrifice, this embodiment, it changes the game for free will then.
That's the idea.
It opens up a way for free will to be perfected, maybe? How does that actually play out for creatures?
Precisely. Perfected is a good way to put it. The sources explain that through this Son, creatures can finally actively choose to receive the life of the living one.
It's a choice they make.
An active choice, yes. And then the Spirit God, another aspect here, engraves God's law directly onto their hearts.
Not stone this time.
Not stone. It's internal. And because it's internalized, they can truly keep the law, genuinely love God and neighbor. And this leads to, an incredible outcome. Even with free will, these creatures now never disobey God.
Never.
Never break the commandment of love, never harm others. It's at this point the sources declare, now at last creatures are complete. Now at last creation is complete.
Wow. So free will remains, but its outcome is guaranteed to be good because of this internal transformation.
That seems to be the essence of it. A perfected state of freedom, freely chosen.
That's quite a resolution. So what about the end game? What's the final picture these sources paint for creation after these choices are made?
Right, this brings up the final judgment described. After creatures have made their choice, those who accept the Son, who choose God's love, they live forever in this completed state.
And those who don't?
Those who reject the Son, they are thrown into the lake of fire. But here's a really significant detail. Death also is thrown into the lake of fire.
Death itself is destroyed.
Exactly. The ultimate vision is total eradication of sin, the final conquest of death, and achieving ultimate rest. Only these perfected, obedient creatures remain, having freely chosen the good.
And then
the Son returns this now complete creation to the Father. The culmination is the Father becoming all in all, a final, total reunion.
What a journey. I mean, from a creation seemingly doomed by its own free will through this incredible divine sacrifice to a state of perfected choice and eternal life. It's really profound perspective on existence, choice, love, just everything. So thinking about this, what does this all mean for you as you consider your own ideas about purpose and choice? It gives you a lot to chew on, doesn't it?
It certainly does. And maybe the question for you listening is, what stands out most to you in this narrative? This arc from the possibility of death to a perfected eternal choice.
Yeah.
Especially knowing it's described as being fueled by such an immeasurable act of divine love. It really asks us to think about worth, freedom, and sacrifice in perhaps a new light.